Hi, this is Shane from Supergloom, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's
We'll-
always something, but yeah, we're good.
We'll make whatever
we'll make it
work.
Yeah, make it
Yeah.
short and sweet if we have to.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna try and see if we can get in, but I appreciate. Where you guys at?
Los Angeles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love LA. I haven't been to LA in a long time, but I used to love it. I mean, I guess. the
Yeah.
old-
Where are you now?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia, originally from New York.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah, I've been down here, I don't know, 18, 19 years. I guess we moved down here. A lot easier to live, I love New
Yeah.
York, but I can't afford New York. I don't want to work.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with LA. It's
I was gonna say it's probably about the same with you guys out there, right?
Yeah. It's super
we
crazy.
love it, and the music scene out here is incredible. It's treated us really well, but
Right.
it's always it's a grind, man. It's a grind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about Supergloom.
Hell yeah.
For those not familiar, can you give us the 2-sentence elevator boardroom pitch?
Do it, Shane.
That's usually the toughest one for everybody. So start there,
Yeah.
and then it's easy.
I don't know. I think our music falls kind of within the alternative realm. There's definitely like some shoegaze elements. We also can get psychedelics. Certainly, we did more on our first EP. I mean, we draw influence from all kinds of bands. I don't know. What would you have to say, Ethan?
I think if I was to do an actual elevator pitch, I would say, we're all we've all been musicians in different bands for so long, and we came together to play some Queens of the Stone Age covers, if it gives you an idea of where our music tastes lie. And we decided to kind of roll with original stuff after that and branch off into more of our shoegaze psychedelic backgrounds a little bit. So I think that Queens of the Stone Age was the thing that brought us together, but then we kind of branched out into our more psychedelic, more shoegaze kind of
So
music that we love.
I'm not very familiar with Queens of the Stone Age. Forgive me. So do you feel like you brought some of their elements into your writing as well?
Yeah,
a little bit, I
certain
think.
songs, I would say.
Yeah.
Like-
It's funny because they're pretty they're a lot more harder rock than I think we tend to be, but they have like some really good melodic vocal parts, stuff like that we gravitate towards, that I think we definitely incorporate in a lot of our music.
When you guys
Yeah.
are writing, are you guys writing all together, or is it more the efforts of one particular member and then kind of sharing it?
There's really no one set way. It varies. Like a lot of times I'll write like a lot of like the chord progressions for songs, and then I'll send it to everybody, and then they'll start putting their part on top of that. Or somebody will bring like a rough blueprint of a song to the practice studio and we'll jam it, or we'll just have a jam and try to write something. So it kind of varies.
Yeah, we're kind of lucky because all of us have ways of recording, so we do a lot of demos. So each person, we actually have a Google Drive of like demos that everyone just drops in, and we kind of work a lot from that. And that kind of sparked from the beginning of our band, which like a lot of people's projects in the past few years, when we were in lockdown with COVID stuff, like that's how we started as a band. We just sent each other demos, and we're like, okay, let's build this out and flesh it out, and so we do that. We still do that a lot.
Is there ever a point you guys get into the same studio or the same room, whatever it is, like in the old days, and bounce stuff back and forth, or is it mostly just electronic?
I don't know for sure. I mean, we have a rehearsal studio where we'll workshop ideas. Once we have like a pretty good idea for a demo, like, oh, let's try running this in the studio and fleshing it out and making any kind of tweaks, because it's faster to do that in person.
Yeah.
But also,
I
we'll
also
have like
think
writing sessions at one of our places, and we'll work on the song stripped down where it's not like in a noisy environment.
right.
Yeah.
I also think that doing it like you just said makes it more organic and more real, and it's weird, but maybe even more breathable, right? Because it sort of takes on a life of its own that you wouldn't have listening
Totally.
to a file that Shane sent you over email. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. And I will say, we do a lot of we'll do the demo stuff, but then also when we get together, we basically I think every band I've been in has kind of done this too. To get warmed up, we'll just jam for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, and just see what comes out. And I'll say like a lot of our demos are sparked from that originally, or we'll like hear some things. We record a lot of our practices too.
Right. Just keep it running because you
Yeah,
never
just
know.
voice memos.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you wouldn't want to hear them because they're all pretty jumbled, but they
Right.
make
But how
sense to
much
us.
of those has made the record or made a song or a record? Probably a lot of
I-
them, right? You go back and go,
Yeah,
holy cow.
quite a few. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
definitely we love getting together. I that's definitely the ideal way to write.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, Sometimes it's easier for somebody to have kind of like the blueprint of a song, like what they're going for, and then bring it to everybody. Sometimes it's easier just to, oh, I got a chord progression, let's jam over this.
Yeah.
Or I play drums in the band, but I also lead the band. But sometimes I'll just play a drum beat at the practice studio, and that will like spawn a whole jam, and that will be turned
Yeah.
into a song. Like for instance, on our first EP, there's a song called "Waiting for the Day." And I was just messing around with this groove, and I didn't even kind of realize it at the time. But to get kind of music nerdy, it was like a metric modulation, because like the pulse changes from like a triplet thing to a 4/4 thing, and end up being this really unique song, and we're all really stoked on it.
When you're
Yeah.
writing, and I don't know how this applies to your style of music, because a lot of people we talk to are a little bit heavier, but are you writing the song for like how the song is going to come across on stage, or are you writing the song for a song's sake and then sort of adapting it later on?
That's a really good question. Because I've been in projects before where we're mostly focused on the live part. But I would say I think Supergloom has been very, very interested in creating unique songs first. No matter if it's using electronic elements or using multiple guitars that we can't replicate, and then figuring out how to either pare it down for stage, or I mean, we're never opposed to bringing more people on stage. We haven't done it a lot yet, but like making it work with what we've got, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I would say when we're making a song, it's definitely for the studio. But then we want to figure out how to play it live. And I don't know, it seems to be happening a lot of times from different bands I've played in. Like live is always a little bit more exciting. So it's
Totally.
like the songs kind of have a bit more of an edge live, and they actually can be a bit heavier, probably because there's less elements. So there's like the distortion cuts through more and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think one thing that
Sorry,
kind of
go
helps us retain like our live sound is we like to record live as much as possible. Like definitely the bass and drums live together, and some maybe rhythm guitar, just to kind of capture that live energy.
Yeah.
Especially for our new record, we want to capture even more of that and not have it be like such a polished thing,
Yeah.
Right. Well, so along those same lines, then you're recording the song for the song's sake, more or less. Do you ever find it difficult, like, oh shit, we've done too much, or we can't replicate this live?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Ethan was sort of smiling when I said that, so I'm guessing that happens.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because we love to layer, love to layer guitars, love to layer parts, things that really complement each other. So we can definitely make things a little bit bigger than we could replicate on stage. But it's like Shane was saying, like we like to our live set to be a little bit more raw, a little bit heavier, a little bit more fun. So we're never really super concerned about making it sound like the record. A lot of times too, we'll extend parts, we'll create like segues into songs and stuff that make the live set unique, as opposed to just playing the album as is.
Okay. So I was doing some research, and it looks like you guys released Immaterial out on cassette. What's it like putting cassettes back out there? That's a whole nother throwback, right?
Yeah, I think they're still pretty collectible, like vinyl. It's kind of a novelty, but I think people are still more interested in cassettes than CDs nowadays.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I got my cassette tape right here.
Hello out there.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz. And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.
That's so funny.
I mean, because cassettes sound good. They're analog and they're a bit warmer than CDs. And then, I don't know, it feels cooler, I think.
Yeah, I do think it's, definitely a novel thing. I don't think a ton of the tapes that we're selling, people necessarily have cassette players, but I do think
that's a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah, I think it's the more the tangible merch, it's like the thing you can hold in your hand that has, cool artwork and stuff like that. So because I know I have like a handful of tapes. I actually weirdly do have a cassette player. But I do think it's like, it's also a wave of something that I feel like people are doing again. So I love having that merch that you can just put in your hands.
I'm going to tell you, I 100% agree with you on the physical merch, and I definitely agree with. Definitely, am a fan of albums. Cassettes kind of scare me though, because I remember having to do that stupid thing with the pen when it got eaten, and you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a
no, 100%.
But they just.
But I definitely. Cool. They probably do, and I agree with the physical thing or the physical product, because that's totally gone in the the world we live in, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for one single digital. There's no. We were just talking in a previous interview here, like there's no ritual of getting the physical copy or going to the store and getting the physical copy and then reading the notes and reading the liner notes and the lyrics and the who you thanked, and that was a whole thing to me, a process, and it seems missing in this world.
Yeah, man. I even aside from the music, that's one thing that we've been really trying to incorporate too, is like just like custom merch. I do a lot of embroidering and things like that. And so like we like to like make all that stuff. So it feels like a experience, it's not just here's some shit that we threw together. It's like everything we do has a little bit of us in it, including the music, including the merch, that's
so also I think there's some sort of thing to be said for sequencing, right? I mean, that's a whole lost art. You guys put that whole tape together and it kind of moves. You put some thought into, what mood you want to set, opening it up and through the middle and bringing it back again. You don't get that from a 99-cent download.
Right.
Yep. 100%. I think that's fun. We're not lost in the ways of singles and how important that is now. So we still do
I get that
as it is. But the thing is, it's like you said, in the back of our mind, and then when we know we're going to release the whole thing, it's a whole cohesive thing that we planned. For people that take it seriously like we do.
So is there something you want your fans to take away from after listening to a Supergloom record?
Well, I'd like the music to take the listener onto a sonic journey. I think each song's a bit different and a lot of different layers and sounds. So hopefully it kind of just transports you to another place temporarily,
Yeah. I also, it's something, I think Shane had mentioned this, but, we're all a little bit nerdy when it comes to music. And so one thing that we want to do, but kind of like behind the scenes, is like challenge the listener a little bit. We like to do interesting parts and stuff like that. But we also have pop sensibilities. So like our melodies are going to still be catchy and still be what we want to hear and what we want people to hear, but also like creating instrumentals that are a little bit challenging, keep it fun, keep it interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you guys planning on taking this out on the road at all?
Would love to, yeah. Right now we're working on the demos for our debut LP, but I'm hoping we start like playing just neighboring cities of LA like early next year, and then like maybe get on a decent support tour like in the middle of the year or something. But yeah, whenever it's feasible, we'd love to get on the road.
Yeah.
Nice. So what do you guys have planned then next? I mean, obviously you've got the records out now and the singles out. Are you going to be doing more videos, more singles, kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, well, right now, like I said, we're working on the demos, so I'm not sure if we'll have another release this year, but we'll definitely be releasing singles early next year, and then hopefully the record around summertime or something.
So when you're writing, do you like purposely think about not writing the same record? I mean, obviously you don't want to change your whole, you can't work out of your wheelhouse and ruin your fan base, but do you consciously try not to write the previous songs? That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever an issue, because the beautiful thing about this band is that we're all highly creative and everybody has ideas to bring to the table for songs, and so we're never kind of had a shortage of writing the same song again. Yeah, we never even had that discussion so far. I mean, I guess that could always happen, but
it is funny. I think Peter, one of the singers in our band, the keyboard player, I think he mentioned the other day we were having a writing session, and he was saying, we're such a new band, for so to speak, that like we don't know if we really even have a sound yet, because I think everything we're doing is, we have a sound that we've put out, but like it's always evolving. Like Shane said, like we all are bringing different stuff to the table. That's like, we don't. This album could be way different than anything we've created, and we're okay with that. Like we're fine with pushing ourselves to make cooler and better songs.
Do you ever consider that may not resonate as much with the listener because you're changing things up, or you don't even care because it's from the heart?
There's always that possibility, but hopefully everyone is just along on the journey with us.
Right.
Yeah,
I think on this new release, there's definitely going to be some heavier stuff. I know you're asking kind of about our influence with Queens of the Stone Age, and I would say like the really unique thing about that band is the heaviness that they bring to their songs, but also like the nice, like catchy falsetto. And that's kind of what I've always been really influenced by, to bring that kind of influence into this band. And you'll hear that with certain songs on this new EP, like Old Friend. That you can definitely hear the Queens of Stone Age influence on that song. It gets pretty damn heavy in the chorus. And then there's another song called Glass Ajar, where it's like more dense, layered, kind of heavy shoegaze with like that nice, catchy vocal.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
I was gonna say I wouldn't say we don't care if we detract previous listeners. We do care, obviously, and I think what we will bring is still like the energy to our live shows and all that stuff that I think people come to see. So it's not that we don't care, but we assume that our listeners are like us, and they like to hear a myriad of different things, and so I think we treat it that way a little bit.
Okay, so this may sound really dumb to you guys, but I don't know. Can you define shoegaze for me? That's totally outside of my wheelhouse.
That's a Shane question.
I mean, it's really kind of just like really thick layers of music, a lot of different effects going on, typically like reverb and distortion and delay. It's kind of like it's a wall of sound. I mean, like the most like
The Cure.
They definitely were an influence on shoegaze, but a band called My Buddy Valentine with the record Loveless, that's kind of like the pinnacle of shoegaze. Okay. And another massive shoegaze band would be Slow Dive. So I mean, it could range. Shoegaze can be heavy, or it could be more dreamy, ethereal. There's like pretty big range within shoegaze.
Right.
Okay. I think we try to kind of get somewhere in the. I mean, we're not trying, but we usually land somewhere in the middle of that, where we like to really layer our guitars and do these heavy kind of choruses, but still like dip into that psychedelic kind of dreamy wave stuff as well.
So I imagine live that's pretty cool then.
Yeah, we definitely try to create a big sound.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to picture what you guys are saying in my head, and that's got to be really, really cool live, or at least a good live vibe.
Yeah, and with we use a lot of, it's guitar heavy, but like Peter also brings in this really beautiful like layer of keyboards that create pads and like these really kind of big atmospheric sounds that really I think, kind of take it to that next level of heaviness.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It adds just more dimension to the overall sound. It's not just only guitar, you know.
Yeah,
Synthesizers add a lot of color and stuff to the music.
totally.
Yes, I agree. For sure. So that's going to bring me to the end of what I had. Did I miss anything you guys want to cover?
No, but when you were talking kind of about like worried about losing listeners or anything, if anything, I think our new music is just going to grow more and more listeners because we're just growing as a band, and each like subsequent release, our
Yeah.
songwriting is just getting stronger and more refined. So I'm not worried about
Yeah,
that in the least bit.
That's actually a good point. One thing that's been really helpful for us, me and Shane have played in different bands, and all of us have played in different bands for, I mean, upwards of 20 years.
Right.
And I think we are constantly, this band has kind of made us like learn a little bit more. We were always kind of flying by the seat of our pants, you know, like doing music all the time. And we've worked with some really, really talented people in the studio that have kind of shaped our way how to create a song, or, you know, things that we maybe didn't look at. We all love to like play our parts. And, you know, it gave us a way to kind of sit back and be like, okay, does this part actually work? And so I think, to Shane's point, I think our songs are going to get better, just based on the knowledge that we've gained from creating these songs in the studio already. So I do think it's going to attract more people.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just as the chemistry grows, you know, as being a band.
Totally, that too, yeah.
Sweet. So like I said, that's going to bring me to the end of my questions. I know if fans want to find you, I had a hard time finding it. How do can you give us your socials?
Yeah, so our Instagram is just Supergloom, but the O's are actually zeros because the other handle was taken, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And our website is the same, supergloom.com with the 2 zeros. Should be same on Facebook. On Spotify, it would just be Supergloom, and then you could well, we used to have the ghost as our logo, but now it's a photo of us, but you can find it.
Yeah, it's
awesome. And I thank you for taking the time.
I thought
Thank you
were
guys. I
gonna
hope
knock it
that
out of the
wasn't too
park.
bad.
Oh no,
Yeah.
thanks a lot, Bruce.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
taking
you
the
so
time,
much.
and I'm glad we made it work. So
Yeah, man, really appreciate it.
If
I'll
we
get
ever
it over
get
to
out
Kip.
there,
Yeah,
if we ever
come out
get
to
there
Virginia.
Virginia, I'd love to meet in person.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Beers are on you.
I'm into that. I'm with that.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, my friends.
Awesome.
Okay,
Peace, man.
take care.
Be well. Yep.
All right,
bye.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.